Yo, what's happening? This is your host Tinto, and before we get started on this weekend's episode, I have a special message from the sponsor for this episode, calling all Zimbabweans at home and abroad. Do you want to ensure that your family back home gets amazing value on premium quality meat delivered to your doorstep? If your answer is yes, then visit www.nyamabantu.com or download the Nyamabantu app and place your order in 3 simple steps. 1. Select your products. 2. Make a payment. And 3. They will deliver to your loved ones in no time. It's safe, convenient, and super easy. Visit Nyamabantu's easy-to-use online store today to order your mouth-watering cuts. Nyamabantu, umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. And with that out of the way, I'd like to give a special shout out to those feelers that have contributed by giving me coffees, starting with you, Mukahuru. Thank you for your generosity. Your comment there reads, thanks for making such great content, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. And then now we've got Kamali, who got me a coffee. Thank you so much for your generous contribution. And your comment there reads, I will buy you some more, but for all that you are, Tinto, I am thankful for you. Man, thank you so much. Then I got Tsungi12. Thank you for your generosity. And your comment there reads, Tinto, what an amazing podcast. I've told everyone close to me about the Feeling Station. Zinzare said Tinto should listen to this. I'm waiting for episode 160. Well, Tsungi, here it is. Episode 160 is dropping now. And then I got somebody anonymous who got me a coffee, and their comment there reads, thank you for lessons wrapped in great content. Thank you so much, wherever you are. And then I got my Marie MJ. Thank you for your generous contribution. And your comment there reads, I know it's been a while since I bought you some coffees. This economy, my one, and my diaper, kudura. Okay, but still a big fan of the podcast and looking forward to more collaborations with Nino. Hey, Nino, you've caused a bit of a stir, brother. Thank you so much. Hey, and with that out of the way, come let's get straight into this week's episode. And geez, I can guarantee you need to listen out to the midweek drop just about this episode, right? Be ready for this one. Fasten your seatbelts.
Is that a breakup?
I think we have a situation right here.
On the Feeling Station.
Welcome to the Feeling Station.
Thank you.
For those who are listening to this podcast for the first time, it's a romantic, family, and friendship breakup podcast showcasing stories that people would like to talk about with a view to give lessons from their experience. Now, I hope you find today's story entertaining, but more importantly, meaningful. And as you know, right, and you're shaking your head, as you know, you already know where this is going. One of the reasons why people find this really, really engaging is I try and keep you anonymous.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a name that you're going to use for the duration of this episode, right? And your name comes from Zimbabwe.
Oh, yeah?
Sunny Zimbabwe, which is the home country for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And
Yep.
the name that I have for you is Chipo.
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 Yep.
And basically what that means is gift.
Okay.
And for most people that actually call their child Chipo, they may have had trouble bearing a child.
Mm-hmm.
And they just want to be expressive to say, I'm so happy that this has come to me. So you are Chipo, you're my
wow.
gift. It's a
Okay.
gift of life and appreciation to the person who gave you life. So your name is Chipo. And in part for me, that's for me to say that I'm grateful that you're here. You're a gift to the podcast with the story that you're about to share.
Okay.
Yeesh. Did you hear that lyrical
I
stuff
did.
come
I
through, fam?
did. It must be what we're drinking.
And it's acting fast. If that is the case, acting very fast. So what would you like to call the person you're talking about? And I'm assuming that you're talking about a heterosexual relationship.
Yes.
And then this is a family breakup or romantic. It's a family breakup.
Yep.
So it's not a romantic one?
In the beginning, it was.
Yo, this is mad. Okay, so it starts romantic, then converts itself to a family breakup. Mad thing. Okay.
Yep.
So what are you calling the person who's involved in this process?
I had 2 names in mind.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with Abraham.
Abraham.
Yep.
Why?
Father of nations.
Mad! How many children are we talking about in this one? Just so that I know from the Okay, don't tell me.
I lost count.
Don't tell
I
me.
lost count.
Don't tell me because I want to know what that is looking like further
Okay.
on. Okay, so this is about Abraham and Chipo. And the second reason why this podcast is really popular is people learn real life lessons from what you're about to share today. So, what would you like people listening to this episode to learn and go away with?
Okay, so I've got 4 lessons, but I feel like maybe people will take out like more than that from it.
Yeah.
So the first one would be don't be a clown in the name of marriage.
You know, this is a running theme right now.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, culturally, everybody is so fixated with the idea of marriage that they really have blinkers that they can't remove.
Yep.
And when they do get married prematurely, it ends up being something that they don't actually ever want to do again. Or at least if they do it again, they do it with so much caution that it ceases to be the beautiful thing that it's painted to be from day one.
That's so true.
So don't be a clown in the name of marriage.
Yep.
Okay. You got a second lesson?
I'll say don't live in fear of what will people say. So in my language is, it would be more like ukuthi abantu bazothini kind of thing. Yeah.
What will people say?
Yeah.
I find that to be a very common thing in African culture.
Yeah.
Because pride comes before anything. A father wants to be known to be successful. And if he has a child that is delinquent, abantu bazothini.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said. What will people say?
Yeah.
So you're saying that do not prescribe to this. And if you can, don't believe in the fear of what will people say.
No, just do you. What feels good at the time.
Cool.
Yeah.
You got a third lesson?
When someone shows you their true colors the first time, believe them.
Amen to that.
Just
And-
believe them.
and
Don't
your-
even do anything. Just believe it and go.
And your fourth?
Okay, so when I reflected on everything, I think karma does knock on the perpetrator's door
Oh, yeah.
every time. So like one way, in different forms, one way or the other.
Karma will come knocking on that door.
It will.
So I'll just play those back. Lesson number 1, don't be a clown in the name of marriage. Lesson number 2, don't believe in the fear of what people will say. Lesson number 3, when someone shows you their true colors in the first instance, believe them. And last but not least, karma does knock on the perpetrator's door every time, one way or the other.
Yep.
So, Chipo, let's get straight into this. Where did you meet Abraham?
Oh gosh.
And why did you decide within yourself, this is the guy that I want to be with?
So funny.
Yeah.
Funny.
English bundles, they're running
Bite
out
me,
fast.
Bite me.
This happened to me. This happened to me recently when I did the midweek drop. If you listen to
Yeah.
episode 159, within the first 20 seconds of the episode, the bundles ran out.
Depleted.
So don't feel a tap away. Okay, let's try this again. Let's go.
Okay, let's go. So I met him in church.
Oh, you met Abraham in church?
Yes. It was in
Okay.
a church setting. I think after, a couple of times you get to know people.
Yeah.
And, in our community, you kind of get to know each other and people's stories. And he was obviously known as the guy who had just separated from his wife, kind of thing.
How old were you at this point?
Hey?
How old were you at this point?
Old enough.
Yeah, tell me.
I think this was 8 years ago? Not 9?
Okay, so you'd have been in your early 30s that you've met this guy
Yeah.
who's been known to be married. And what was your situation at the time? Were you single?
Kinda. I'd been dating a guy for like 3 years and it wasn't going anywhere. Well, I wanted marriage kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Because all my friends at this point, you look around, they're all getting settled, they're married, they're having kids. So I think I wanted that.
Out of
And-
pressure, because that's what this
Yeah.
sounds like.
Exactly.
Let's remove the pressure. Right, all your friends are getting married and you are in your early 30s,
Yep.
which culturally, again, does feel like, hey, you're kind of getting on. If you remove the pressure,
Yeah.
would you have wanted to marry this guy?
No.
So why are we still in the relationship?
Sorry, the guy who comes or the one?
No, the guy who you're dating at the time. The guy who's been in the relationship for 3 years.
Definitely.
By now, you guys aren't married.
No.
And there's this pressure. If you remove the pressure, would you still have wanted to be married to him?
Yes. Yes.
So why didn't it happen then? And I know this is not the person we're talking about, but I'm just curious.
I feel like I was in a rush. He wasn't. He was taking his time and he was getting to know me. Okay, fine. 3 years is a long time to get to know somebody, but I feel like guys in most instances never really rush for marriage, whereas us women, we tend to want things in a quicker pace.
Okay.
So at that point, I wanted marriage, but he wasn't down that road.
So now this guy who had been married, Abraham, was starting to talk to you.
Yeah.
Is he still married at this point?
Yes. He's just separated.
Just separated? And like for real, or because what tends to happen with some men is they'll paint a picture of being separated when the reality is they aren't. Was he really, really separated?
Well, the rumors were saying that, and he would say that as well. So I feel like at this point he was separated.
One of the things that's really good these days is fact-finding. So Facebook has been in trouble for publishing information that is not factual.
Yeah.
The US government has put something that says you can fact-check everything. At the point you were hearing a rumor about this guy being separated, you had an opportunity to fact-check for yourself as Chipo. To say, I want to be sure that this guy is not married. When you did that fact-check, did it turn out he really was separated or it was something else?
I think so, because I mean, I would see the woman in question. She would come in her own car. She would do her own thing. She wouldn't necessarily be with this guy, if that makes sense. So at that time, yeah.
Okay. So he's separated. He's starting to chirps you. He's saying nice things, and then what happened?
Oh, he was. I feel like he came on strong. Like he made his intentions well known. He literally swept me off my feet. I think he kind of got to know my love language, and he did just that. Like he proper dated me, you know, like without the rush of having sex or anything like that. Like we courted, like we went on dates. I would receive flowers. I would receive random gifts. He would call me. You know that love, that kind of love where you sleep at 1 o'clock in the morning kind of love. Just talking.
What was your love language at that time?
Very materialistic.
So the language of gifts.
Yeah.
So you enjoyed receiving gifts.
Yes.
He understood that and would give you those gifts, and then you felt loved and appreciated.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Coming from the relationship that I was coming from. Yeah. I feel like he was he was just amazing. This guy was just amazing. And I think what cemented it was when he moved to a totally different town and was like, I want you to move in with me kind of thing.
Mud!
Oh, yeah.
So he's like, come to that town and live with me?
Yep.
What sort of distance are we talking between where home was and where this town was?
Maybe about 3 hours kind of thing.
Yo. What was your situation? Were you working? Were you studying at this time?
I was studying. I was in college at this time.
So how was that going to work out for your studies if you're going to be living 3 hours away from school?
Train. There was a quick train exactly to where I used to go. And I was like finishing off anyway. Yeah. So I was like 2 months away from finishing. So it was fine.
And was he going to pay for your train tickets? What was the arrangement?
Oh, yeah.
He was, yeah?
Yeah. Guy was moneyed up. He was fine.
So sounds like you said yes to moving in.
I did.
I guess it was a no-brainer.
I did.
So you moved in with this guy who's telling you a lot of stuff about how he appreciates you, and then he's blessing you with these gifts, etc., etc. By the time that you moved in, what was the situation with his separation / divorce? Because I'm assuming you're separated with a view to divorce.
Okay, so one of the conditions that I gave him was that if you want me to live with you indefinitely, well, you need to make plans. You need to divorce, because I'm not going to stay with you when you're not divorced.
Mm.
You know, and I think that's where the karma that I'm talking about is. I feel like after everything, maybe let me talk about it at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he had 3 kids as well. Did I mention that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, sorry, my bad. So he had 3 kids already with this woman. So yeah, they divorced. He did. He went through the divorce
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like he was in love as well. You know, he went through it. He divorced and started living with him like properly, full time with him.
What was your view on living with a man before you met this guy? Did you come from a home where you said, I'll only move in with a man once he's married me? Or you came from a background where you said, any gun can shoot. If a guy decides I'll live with him, even if we're not married, it's cool.
No, I feel like maybe that's why I kind of gave him the ultimatum, because I feel like my own values, you know, where I grew up in a family where mom and dad were kind of present. I didn't want to see myself just moving in just without the ring kind of thing.
So did you move in with the ring?
Well, no, but at this point...
Before you go on, you're very quick to say but. You've basically compromised a value that I assume you held very dear to yourself, which is I'm looking at mom and dad who had a very stable home, right? And I want to replicate that. I want that for myself, so I'm going to wait for a ring to come along. You have no ring, but then you've moved in with a man who's in the process of separating from his wife.
To be honest with you, I think because, like I said, I was already envying my friends, envying what they had, kind of like marriage and everything. I wanted to be in that position. So if it meant me staying with this guy in the hopes of getting a ring,
you would do it.
I would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't care who I would hurt along the way, you know?
And when you say that, are you talking about family? Because your parents would have wanted that for you to say, hey, you know, we want to send you off in the way that we have grown up to have been sent off and that we value.
Yeah. And I think where I live, like in this country, my family were really close, you know? So I think they kind of got to know it as well, that, oh, she's now living with that guy because, that lady, the ex, also started, you know, like, throwing rumors in church and everything, that I had broken her marriage and all those other things.
Had you broken it?
No, because as far as I'm concerned, they were separated. Yeah. I don't think I owed her loyalty. I think the husband owed her that. That's how I felt at the time. Yeah.
Okay. So you move in?
Yes.
And then?
The first red flag that happened. So I'm at work. I used to do this part-time work during the weekends. And he had told me he was going to do some assessments. Yeah. And I don't know. I think in that whole relationship, God would throw me things and, you know, just to show me the light kind of thing. And I never used to really pay attention.
Right.
So this one, the first flag, red flag, not even white, red, bright red. His phone, he butt dialed his phone.
You butt dialed. Did he have a big butt for a guy?
No.
so how the hell is he butt dialing?
When you call someone.
Yeah. So he butt dialed someone.
Me.
No, he butt dialed you.
Yeah.
Right.
And I had the opportunity to listen to a conversation for like 7 minutes and some seconds.
Between?
Him and a little child. And mind you, this man did not have a little child. I think the youngest that I knew was like around 8 years.
Right.
And this child's like, Daddy, where are we going now?
Okay.
You know, I had to look at the screen, the phone screen, to check.
Just to be sure that this is Abraham who's rung me here.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Abraham.
Is this Ab? Like, yeah, it is. Yeah, and I can hear him in the background. He has baby, and he's mentioning the girl's name, and he's like, and then the child is asking, can we go to mommy now? And then he's like, yeah, let's just buy these things, and then we go. And then a few minutes later, you can hear the walking and everything. You can hear the shops. You can hear cars hooting.
Mad!
I'm listening to this, you know? And then I hear a lady's voice. It's a white lady, you know? Like, hey, babe, you finished now?
How do you know she was white? Just from the voice?
You could tell. I could.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking. At this point, I got fed up and I just dropped the phone. And I texted him.
Bruh. Me, I'd have stuck on that phone until the cows come home.
Until my heart was like...
Hey!
So I texted him and I was like, don't come back. Don't come home. So he starts blowing up my phone. I ignore him, you know. And I think he does come home. And he's like, well, what's going on? I've been calling you. And I'm like, who is that child you were with? And I think he was shocked. And then he starts, no, I didn't want to lose you. You know, I love you. But I've got a child outside.
So in his mind, how did he think not telling you that would keep you versus you going?
I don't know.
I mean, it's clearly an omission of reality.
Yeah.
And he thought by omitting that, you would stay.
Oh, and he was right.
Oh.
I stayed. Even when I knew about it, I stayed, Tinder.
So what did he say when you asked who this person is then? You know, who the baby was and who the woman was. What did he say?
Yeah, he said it was somebody that they used to work together. One thing led to another. They were not in love or anything like that. They've got a child together. So they co-parent.
And how old was the child?
Around 4 years at that time.
And at this point, you've been in the relationship for how long?
Maybe 7 months, 8 months.
So he had been cheating on his
Yes.
wife.
Yes.
Now ex-wife.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're in the picture.
Yep.
There's this whole new thing that comes in.
Yep.
When you processed that, when you realized it, did your brain tell you to stay or leave?
Well, now I kind of thought, well, now I know about it. So what's the worst that really could happen?
So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Why did he leave his wife? Why did him and his wife divorce?
See, this guy would, like most men, I think, when they divorce, he would say all sorts of things about the wife.
What did he say?
Oh, she's sorry. Was I meant to say that?
This is PG-18. It's fine. This is PG-18. You're fine. Fortunately for you, you're fine.
Yeah, she's a hoe. She doesn't respect me. The family don't respect me. She doesn't even like cook, like wash in the house and all that stuff. She doesn't pay attention to me. It's just a lot.
Did those not raise any red flags? And I'll just focus on one thing. I have had a few relationships in my adult life. I have not once called any one of my exes a hoe. I've never called any one of them a bitch. I've never used any term that would be described as derogatory to describe them.
Yeah.
Because above anything and everything that we may have gone through, they're human.
Yeah.
And they deserve that decency. So hearing a man describe someone as a hoe, was that not a trigger for you? Or something for you to say, that's not nice to say about someone?
No, to be honest with you, at that time, no.
You were too in love.
I was just too in love, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm not going to ever be like that. I'll never be that woman. If she couldn't keep her man, if she could whore around, that's not me. This man was just everything to me.
So his conclusion was, I left because she was a hoe.
Yeah,
But now you're finding out that no, you've got a child outside the wedlock.
maybe I was at that point. I thought maybe she had pushed him to do that.
There's no such thing.
Well, me and you, we know that now. But then I'm saying back then,
There really is no such thing.
yeah,
In the same way, there's no such thing as somebody stole my man. The person made a conscious choice to go the other way.
yeah,
He made a conscious choice
Oh, yeah.
to unzip his pants, get his penis out and put it in somebody's vagina,
yeah,
have intercourse, and then ejaculate. And then the fruit of that is the child that you heard over the phone.
yeah.
So by this point, you have enough information for you to leave.
Oh no, I wasn't leaving.
Why?
Remember, I wanted the ring. Remember, this man was my everything. There was no way I was going to leave this man. I'm just being honest.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So fast forward.
Mm,
I had started uni by now.
mm.
And this man decides, baby girl, it's time. I want to pay lobola for you, dowry.
Mm.
I want to pay dowry for you. You know? We go home.
Wait. Mm-mm. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. You've just discovered there's a white woman in this picture.
Oh, she was a non-factor.
How?
They did what they did. They had a child, and that's it.
Yeah, but
They
they're
co-parent.
as far as you're concerned, they're co-parenting. What confidence did you have that they're not having sex? Because he's already omitted her. So what is stopping him from omitting the fact that, yeah, occasionally when I'm feeling a type of way, I go and get my itch scratched by her?
Okay. So I put a rule in place to say, you know what, if you want to go and see this child, I need to be there, you know? We go and do our visits. But then he then turned around and said, unfortunately, I can't because this woman refuses to have other people around my child.
Meaning,
know.
Meaning what? Because you're another. Excuse my English. Yeah, I'm about to break it, and I don't care.
Yeah.
You are another people yourself.
Yes.
So she says, I refuse to have other people around my child. You are a people. So how was he hoping that would pan out? Because you're going to be there no matter what. You are the new person in his life.
Oh, remember he'll say, baby. Oh, baby.
And that's all you needed to say.
Yeah.
What was it that got you so hooked into him? Apart from the gifts, was it the sex?
Not really. I think I just genuinely loved this guy.
I don't know if that is the case. Honestly, I really don't. Because on one end, you're telling me about peer pressure. You're telling me about the focus on the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah? Now you're telling me you're genuinely in love. Which is which?
At this point, I was now in love. Honestly, this guy, I don't know, but he just swept me off my feet. I fell, and I fell hard. And
Okay.
I wasn't standing by love at this point. I was deep, deep, deep gone in love.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got this rule. So he would. How did that pan out? Because you said you can't see your child without me, and the mom said no.
No.
So
She became a non-factor to me.
he would then go and
He continued,
see
yeah, and then come back.
the child and come back.
Yep.
So let's say it's a Sunday. Typically, he wants to go see the child. Would he go in the morning and come back in the evening?
Yeah.
Spend the whole day there
You spend the whole day there.
at the house.
Sometimes he'll say he picks up the child and they go and do things like soft play area, lunch, just spend the time with the kid, yeah. And I think, to be honest with you at this point, I didn't want to come across as the woman who doesn't want him to be around his kids, who doesn't want him to go and see his kids or do things with his kids. So I let it be.
And at this point, he's got 4 now because he's got 3
Yes.
with his first and then this one.
Yes.
Come through, Abraham. Now say it. Living up to your name, my G. Okay. And then?
So fast forward, like I said, we go home. He goes to pay dowry for me. Yeah. And I have to say, all this time we had started trying for a kid and nothing was happening. So for the longest time, we were trying and nothing was happening. And I think I was getting frustrated. I was feeling inadequate because this man has already got kids, you know, and I wanted to give him a kid as well. It wasn't happening. And then,
Why have you just said it like that?
sorry?
Why did you say it like that? You say you wanted to give him a child. What about you giving yourself a child as a mum?
I don't know, but at that point, I think this kid was just more for him to kind of cement our family.
Yeah, but why not for you to cement the family? That's what I'm trying to get here. And bear in mind, I always say this, I'm not a psychologist.
Yeah.
I cannot psychoanalyze this.
Mm-hmm.
But because I have a child,
Yeah.
I proudly say my son.
Yeah.
So in part, I'm saying this is for me as dad. Twice you've said for him.
Yeah.
Did you not want a child?
Well, I did, but not at that point because I had uni and everything. So
why have a child?
for him to cement our family.
But he's got 4.
I don't know, maybe at the back of my mind, I kind of knew things were not right.
So a baby will fix this.
Mm.
The baby doesn't ask to come into this world.
Yeah.
The baby's not a builder. They don't come with bricks and cement to make a house stand
Yeah.
and be firm.
Yeah.
So why are you putting the responsibility on a human who hasn't asked to come into this world to fix your problem
Mm.
in your situation?
I don't know, Tindo. I don't know.
Has the baby fixed the situation now?
No.
Okay. We won't dwell on that one. Because the interaction that we're having, I can tell that, okay, maybe it's something we can have a conversation about offline.
Yeah.
So you're now thinking, let's have, let me give this guy a baby.
Yeah.
And then it's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens?
Whilst that is happening, he says, remember, I did say that I want to get married to you. And I think this is the time. Let's go and get married. I want to pay dowry for you. Yeah?
Mm.
We go. It's the most beautiful thing ever. And I think I'm kind of different when it comes to other women where they want to put their stuff on Facebook and show off and have 20 of their friends wearing the same clothes and everything, having a celebration. No, mine was very much how I wanted it to be, very intimate. The family members that needed to be there were there. We had food, we ate, we drank. It was really, really nice. It was very successful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And after the holiday, we come back to where we stay.
Mm.
And then at this point, uni is closed, isn't it?
Mm.
I'm not in uni anymore.
Mm.
I'm working. And then I think a month after paying the dowry, when we're here, we're watching a movie. And for the life of me, Tindo, I can't remember the name of the movie. I've tried so hard to remember what movie we were watching, to try and think. When you recall events, you try, but I can't. But anyway, so what happened is we were watching a movie, and then in that movie, the guy says to the woman, like, the girl was upset. Obviously, I think the guy had cheated or something like that. And then they're talking in the context of, and then the guy is like, I really, really tried, but I just couldn't find a way to tell you. Yeah, mind you, this is in the movie, isn't it? I then say, you comment. Yeah, I commented. It's like, oh, for flip's sake. I feel like if you really want to tell somebody something, you would just say it. There's never a right time or a wrong time. You just say it.
Yeah, just say it. Yeah.
I'm commenting, to my person. I mean, we're all cuddling. We're watching this movie. Guy says, guy turns around and says, but I understand where he's coming from. I said, what do you mean? Then he says, sometimes it can be difficult. I said, no matter how difficult. I responded, I said, no matter how difficult, you just got to open your mouth and say it. And then he says, well, like for instance, I have something to tell you, but sometimes I find it difficult to tell you,
Yeah, man.
So I paused the movie and I'm like, what babe? Because I can see he's serious,
Yeah. What do you want to say?
Yeah.
Say it with your chest, bruh.
And then he says, I've been having dreams. I haven't been sleeping well for a few nights now. And I was like, oh, why? What's going on? And then he says, I've been dreaming of my dad. His dad passed on.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I've been dreaming of my dad. And I'm like every night. Like, and he's like, yeah. And I was like, what? Tell me more about this dream. And then he says, my dad keeps on saying, why have I neglected my family? And I'm like, oh? What do you mean? And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I need to go back. I need to go back to my wife.
Shamari.
And I'm like, what? What wife? I'm your wife. And he's like, no. He keeps on asking me, why have I turned my back on my kids? And then I'm like, no, sometimes, dreams can mean the total opposite. At this point, I'm shaking.
What would the opposite be? Out of curiosity, right?
But at this moment, I'm shaking.
At this point, the dream is telling him, go back to your wife.
Yeah.
Would the opposite be, stay with your wife, which is you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm shaking, And then it's like, what do you mean opposite? Opposite of what? Are you trying to say I shouldn't be, I should turn my back on my children? He's getting really upset. Yeah? And I'm like, no, babe, I didn't say that. I didn't mean it like that. And then he's like, no, you're starting to piss me off now. And I'm like, babe, like we were just watching a movie a second ago and then everything's just gone. Oh. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, anyway, I just wanted to tell you this because tomorrow I'm going back.
So this wasn't even an issue for discussion at this point. This is for your information.
Yeah.
I've been having these dreams and this has been happening and I've made the decision that I'm actually going back to my wife.
Yeah.
What went through your head the moment you heard that?
I've always heard of people saying they throw up when they're given bad news. And I never used to understand that.
Yeah.
I literally stood up and I threw up.
I've been there before.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I had never.
I've had something I did not expect to hear. Mm-hmm. It didn't take 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And bang, it was out.
And and then I called my auntie. I'm very close to my auntie. I call my auntie and I'm crying. And my auntie is like, what's going on? At this point, I'm screaming. Yeah. And I'm like, this man wants to embarrass me. What will people say? We've just been literally married.
This is why I got the lesson to say.
Yeah.
Don't mind what people say.
My auntie is like, let me talk to him. And he sits there, he's like, I don't want to talk to your family. And my auntie could hear this. And he says, it's okay, son. And then she says to me, my daughter, let him go. And I'm at this point saying, I'll fuck this nigger up. I'm so upset. I go outside and I smash his car.
When you say smash his car, how bad are we talking here?
So bad the neighbors came and they were threatening to call the police. I was smashing this car. Why? I don't know. And then he's there and he's like, no, it's okay. It's okay. I've upset her. It's fine. Let her do what she needs to do. But the bottom line is I'm going back to my kids. I can't stay with this hooligan.
Hooligan,
He used those words. He said, I can't stay with this hooligan. And then he goes back inside, the houses. When somebody just closes the door. Yeah? And then I'm going back and I'm shouting at him. And then he's like, you know what? I'm not sleeping here. I'm going to a hotel.
Man, this guy's got this stuff planned out, eh?
Yeah. So I remain at home crying my head out. you call your friends, but you don't really call other family members because you're like, people, what is this? This is not a boyfriend, Tinder. This is my man. This is my husband that I just came back home with,
I was just about to ask that, to say, at this point, had you guys had a white wedding? Had you,
No.
Did you decided you wanted to have one, or you're like, this is sufficient? At the traditional stage,
At the traditional
you were
stage,
happy
I
with
was
that?
happy.
Okay, cool, fine.
I was happy.
Yeah.
And then
fine.
we had plans to say later on.
Later, okay.
Yeah, we even had plans when we came back. We were like, okay, we're going to go away on holiday to celebrate this.
And this was how long after that Lobola thing happened?
month.
1 month.
1 month.
Mm.
Oh, my nigga, the chest pains.
Talk about
everything.
the godmother of red flags. 1 month into dowry.
Yes.
And this is the man who says to you, I'm ready to get
I'm
married.
ready. So the next day he came, he took all his clothes. Yeah, and he left. And I've always heard of people saying they go through heartbreak and they drink, they do all sorts. I think I spent most of my days in bed. I neglected myself. I would,
Were you eating okay?
not really.
So you lost weight?
I did. I actually lost a lot of weight.
Mm.
And then my grandmother called. I think it was 4 weeks later or something. She said, you know what, babe? I've been having dreams. I need you to do something for me. In my head, I'm thinking, what is it with people and dreams?
Dreams, yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I want you to go and buy a pregnancy test kit.
You
know? I'm like, what? I don't have anyone. She's like, no, just go and do it. And she's like, whilst we're talking on the phone, just go and do it. So I got up. I didn't want to really, but I got up. When elders talk. I got up, I went and we're talking, and I went to the shops. I got it. I came back, and it wasn't the digital one. It was just the plain one.
Which one? You can't just say plain. I'm trying to visualize this, but what do you mean the plain one? The strip?
The cheapest one.
The white strip, or?
No. The one of the cheap ones that it doesn't tell you like 2 weeks or anything like that. It just it comes up with the color, like either the 1 or 2.
Right, yeah.
Two for pregnant. Yeah, that one.
Mm.
I did that one, and it was positive.
Mad.
And I'm on the phone. I'm like, no, I think this one is
wrong.
wrong. So I went to the shops again.
I want another one.
And I bought 3. And I bought the digital ones this time around.
3 digital ones?
Yes.
3? Those things are expensive,
Yes. At this point, I'm going mad.
And you're a student, aren't you?
Yes, exactly.
So where are you getting the money to be funding purchases of such pregnancy?
At this point, I just didn't. I was like, I need to know. Yeah. And ding, ding, ding.
All 3 of them.
4 weeks pregnant. I cried.
Hey,
I cried.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm like, I need to make an appointment.
With who?
I need to go and get this removed because there's no way I'm doing this single. I've got university. What will people say? This man has left me. They don't even know that he's left me.
But you see why I was asking you that question?
Mm-hmm.
To say, who is this baby really for? And you said it was for him. And this behavior you're exhibiting and what you're about to do literally confirms that this was for him, because he's no longer in the picture.
I think, let me explain.
And this gift is now here, and the first thing you're thinking about is that?
So let me go back again. During that whole mourning process where I'm crying and everything, this guy, he took his wife and the kids to the same trip that we had planned for our honeymoon to celebrate our wedding, traditional wedding.
Jesus.
And this was to Paris. Yeah.
Wow.
They were taking selfies. And the worst thing, it was on WhatsApp. Yeah. So everybody got to know in terms of my family, because he had some of my family members on his status. So they knew. So at that point, when I was now like, I need to make an appointment, I was becoming an embarrassed. Like I was so embarrassed. I'd gone through it all.
You know, one of the questions I was very keen on asking was, why did these people split? And you said it because you were saying, yeah, she was a hoe and all
Yeah.
of that stuff. So why is he going back to that?
Who knows? Who knows? So now my grandmother obviously now knew. Yeah, my grandmother obviously now knew that I was pregnant.
Mm.
So she quickly calls the family and she's like, this is the situation. And she's saying she wants to go and abort, you know? They were very much against that. They were like, this was not a boyfriend. This is your
This is
husband.
your husband, yeah.
You know?
Mm.
We're not going to have that. And we're Christians, you know? And you know how elders are like, blah, 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 you know? It's not happening. So now I'm stuck. And I'm like, okay. They decided I needed to tell him. They were like, just let him know. We're not saying he should come back. We're just letting him know. So I then sent him a text message and the picture of the digital pregnancy to say, my guy, I know you're in Paris, yeah? But you left something here. And the guy responded and said, I'm currently in Zimbabwe. I've just left Paris. We're in Zimbabwe. I'll come dealing with that when I come back.
Was he in Zimbabwe?
Yeah.
With the ex-wife
Yeah.
and the kids?
Yes. Oh, at this point, they're traveling. They're having fun.
Mad. Out of curiosity, you guys have been married a month and he had been divorced how long?
I think a year.
So it was still fresh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Everything just changed. Everything just changed. I don't know. Just changed so quick. And he comes back. And he says, I want my child. I'll be there. Anything you want, anything you need, I'll be there.
And your response was what?
And I think this is where I was saying, don't be a clown in the name of marriage. I then decide to myself, maybe this might just make him come back. You know? I don't know.
I have to ask you this question, Chipo. Did you want to have children?
With him. Children in general, yes. But at this point, no. Because I was trying to better my life. I was just trying to, you know? So no, I was not wanting a child at that point. Yeah. So he starts coming and going, checking up. Baby mama, are you okay? You know? Sometimes we would have sex.
Why are you saying that and you're not looking me in the eye anymore? Because you're not giving me sometimes vibes. You're giving me all the damn time. We were now having sex.
Yeah. Like monkeys.
Are you ashamed about upping the sex with him, given what the circumstances were?
I am.
And that's okay to feel like that, right? The only question that I would have was, did you decide to increase the amount of sex you had with him, knowing that he was no longer quite available, in quotes? And I'm making an
Everything and
assumption,
anything.
by the
Yeah.
way. I'm assuming you started having more sex. Did you start having more sex?
Yes. Not
and,
only more
and what was
sex,
the reason for that, though?
I was making sure that when he came, there was food cooked. I was making sure that I was dressed well, you know? I think I was going all out for my man to come back home. And my my prayers were answered. I don't know what happened wherever he was. He came back. But when I say he came back, he was probably during the week and with me, and then weekends he'll say, I've got to go and do some assessments, and he'll go. Oh, my bundle of joy came. I qualified university as well.
Mm.
I finished university, got my qualification. Everything was good, but not good. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
I was portraying this man, this amazing man, to everybody. But behind closed doors, it wasn't just that. We were having so many fights.
Why did you feel the need to do that?
Again, what will people say?
Mm.
I just wanted people to think I had this amazing marriage, you know? And I think my family just loved him as well because of what I would tell them about him. You know, he does this, he's buying his properties home, you know? And then lockdown happened.
Mm.
Yeah, lockdown happened. And this guy would still insist he has to go and work away, even during lockdown. And his job doesn't, you know, he doesn't have that kind of job.
So did you question that?
I think at this point I was questioning it, and we were like proper fighting a lot about it. And I remember one day I was with the baby at home, and my phone rings, you know, and I answer it, you know,
Mm.
and this girl answers, you know, she says, "Hi,
Mm.
is this Chipo?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's Chipo."
Mm.
And she's like, "Chipo, I need you to stay away from my man now. I think I've had enough of you."
Mm-mm.
You know, I took a second, like, what? What are you talking about? Because it can't be me. And she went in details. This girl would tell me that they've got a 3-year-old son. Yeah. And every time she finally found out that I'm the one who's keeping her man away. And I'm like, "You're talking about my husband?" "Oh, you know, married him. He's told me all about you. And you know those words that he used to say about the wife?
Mm. He's now saying them about you.
Saying that about me. This man was a clown. Or more like I think I was the clown.
So I'm trying to make sense of the order of things,
Yeah.
right? So he's got a wife with 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a baby mama with a child who's
Yep.
how old at that point?
At this point, maybe 5.
Right, 5.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this other kid who is
Now 3.
3, and your
Yep.
child at this point is how old?
A year or so.
Mad!
Abraham is doing the things.
You know when God gave the Great Commission in Matthew, and it says, "Be fruitful and multiply,"
Oh, Abraham was.
right?
Yeah.
I think some people took that Great Commission with too much, ownership, and like this is for me personally. And Abraham sounds like he did that.
He did.
So you're potentially looking at baby number 5.
If even that.
Because he's got 3 with
Yeah.
his wife. He's got 1 with that butt dial conversation. And then,
So he's got 3,
and then there's
4,
yours.
5, 6.
Wait. 3 with the wife.
Yeah.
Right? 1 with you.
Yep.
1 with babe. Yeah, it is
Yes.
6. Mad. Please tell me at this point, you've had a sexual health test.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah?
I did. I went through that.
Mm-hmm.
I was so scared. I did. I was fine. And I have to say as well, like at this point, this guy used to have a problem because he never used to drink. He doesn't drink anyway. He's never drank in his life. So even if I buy myself a glass of wine, remember it's lockdown. Even if you buy just bottle of wine.
Mm.
He used to have a problem with that. This is exactly why I can't be in this house because you're an alcoholic. I don't like women who drink. This is your friends. Like he just changed me from who I was. I couldn't even recognize who I was anymore.
Mm.
Yeah. This man would turn everything into a fight
Mm.
so that he could just go.
Mm. So this woman calls you.
Yeah.
Who is she? Was she black? Was she white?
She was black.
Mm.
Yeah.
So he
She was
doesn't.
Jamaican.
He doesn't discriminate.
Oh, she was Jamaican.
Hmm.
And you know how fast they talk, and you kind of have to say, can you slow down because I'm not understanding? Sometimes I think they talk, is it patois?
Yeah, Patwa.
Yeah. It was so fast, and I'm like, oh my God.
But what are you trying to understand, Chipo? Let me try to understand here.
'Cause I
Right? The man is a child
Yeah.
that is older than your firstborn.
Yeah.
What are you trying to understand that she's telling you?
I don't know, but at this point, I'm shaking.
So
Like
she,
I'm just in denial. I'm like, it can't be my man.
so she's clearly saying, "Stay away."
Yeah.
What did you do?
I started shouting at her.
Saying what?
You are the home wrecker that I've been looking for. You know? I started calling this woman names. I was like, don't even come here and try and ruin my marriage. I started fighting for my marriage. I started fighting this woman.
Chipo, what was it at this point? Because you got
Oh.
you got two women who've been in the picture during the whole time you've been alive, and you're fighting for the same man. You still haven't told me what it was. You mentioned peer pressure to get married.
Yeah.
Now you're married,
I'm married.
so we can't use that as an excuse
No.
anymore.
No.
You said, "I want to give this guy a child so that he gets closer to me." You've
Yeah.
got that now.
I think people would always ask me, like people who were close to me, like, leave him. What is it about him?
Exactly. What was it about him?
And I would always respond. And I think people, whoever was just close, would always remember me saying, what will people say if I leave my marriage? What will they think of me?
Sure.
But I never stopped to think about, and then if they thought of that, and then what? It was, I used to always blame myself.
For
I can't, for failing in my marriage.
but you haven't failed.
The reason why he's doing this is I need to change something within myself. You know? This man started telling me that I've started gaining weight. And the more he'll say that, the more I would gain weight.
Mm.
You know? It was just a lot. It was just, I lost a lot of my confidence. People that knew me and would bump into me like in town or something, it would be like, wow. I was just, a shadow of my former self. I just wasn't the same person anymore.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you found out about this baby. She's telling you, leave my man. You start fighting harder for him. He's probably enjoying this
Mm.
because he's got more than one woman clamoring after him to be with him. So what was your next move?
So when he came back, and I think this is when I thought to myself, I think I've just lost myself totally. When he came back, I had cooked, I had cleaned, and I told him that me and him needed to have a conversation. And then he was like, listen, if it's one of your moaning sessions, I'm not
One
Up
of your
for it.
moaning sessions,
Yeah. And I was like, no, actually, I think I just want to let you know that I'm ready. And he's like, ready? Ready for what? And I said, I'm ready for you to take wife number 2.
Hey, Chipo. Hey. Hi. Ah.
And at this point, I would tell anybody who cared to listen that I was ready for, is it polygamy? How would you pronounce it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I was ready. Like, I don't mind, you know? And I would just convince myself, it's okay. It's okay for me to have sister wives. It's okay.
You from the moment I met you, you've not struck me as anybody who's had confidence issues. And I know you've mentioned just now in the last minute that you lost your confidence.
Yeah.
And I get that. How is it now that you look back in time? How is it possible that you felt that would be okay?
I don't know. I thought in order for me to keep this man, maybe if I say I'm okay with him having these other women where we know each other would make it better.
I'm a jealous guy. I'm not shy to say I'm jealous. If I'm with someone, I'm jealous about who they're with, what they're doing. I'm not possessive, but I'm jealous. And I think jealousy is healthy.
Yeah.
Were you not a touch jealous?
I was. But
And if you're a touch jealous, having another woman, I would assume would make you even more jealous. And jealousy is not a nice feeling, you know.
it's not. But I think I had lost myself so much in this journey with him.
That jealousy was acceptable.
Yeah.
Mad.
Like I accepted. I think even at this point, if he said he wanted to bring another woman into our house, I would have been fine with it. Just for me to keep him.
What is it about this man? I keep asking the same damn question. What
don't
was it
know.
about this man?
I think he broke me so much. Even now, I don't think I feel I will meet the right, like a man who will fully love me. I lost myself. I think I'm still trying to find myself. But I think he did so much damage. You know, I don't even. This man was a cocky man. A narcissist.
Yeah.
He was, a lot. But at that time, I didn't see all of these things.
What are your brothers like?
Calm.
Mm.
Yeah. And I think,
And your dad is calm too.
no, my dad passed on a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my brothers, and the thing is, they live, can I say Zimbabwe?
Yeah.
Yeah, they live in Zimbabwe. And then I obviously live in a different country, far, far away from them. So they don't really know. And remember, I would paint this man as the best man ever.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. The reason why I ask that question is sometimes as we are adults, we model a lot of what we are now based on things we didn't even know were influential when we were younger.
Yeah.
So if you grew up with a set of brothers who always felt the need to make you feel like you're an inferior individual who needs to prove to them that you're worth something, I would understand that. But you describe them as calm.
Yeah, but maybe because I didn't grow up with them. I was raised by my auntie and my uncle in a different family environment. So, and that's another story for another day. But yeah.
I hate the fact that there's a temptation to try and psychoanalyze stuff, you know, because I don't have the skill for it.
I know.
But I'm just having a lot of difficulty. Maybe I shouldn't pay too much attention, trying to understand why you'd have felt that this guy being such an asshole to you is worth having around you to the point where you're prepared to have another woman come in. And she doesn't sound like she's a nice woman, you know.
No.
So you're going to have two people with stinking attitudes bearing their weight on you and making you feel like a piece of shit and hoping that would make you feel better about yourself. How?
Honestly, Tindo, I don't know. At that point, I was ready to risk it all. If I hadn't risked everything already, I was ready.
So how did that pan out for you then? Did you accept her into your situation? What did you do?
Well, his response was, he laughed it. You know, he laughed it off, and he was like, I don't think you know what you're asking for. You know, I will give you some time to think about what you just said. And he laughed and he walked away. Fast forward, because it was locked down, and then when lockdown started opening up again and everything, I was like, I think I'm going mad. Let me just get a job. So managed to get myself a job. I started doing me, basically. And he was still doing his being at home 3 days and then go away for 2 days, and it was just a nightmare, I think. But I was just coping. I was just living. I had my marriage, and I don't know what happened, but so every time this guy would be around me, his phone would ring, and he wouldn't answer because he's sitting next to me, right? But, like you can tell somebody's name, and it was somebody's name. Let's say Sarah, and then with the last name Mudiwa. Yeah. And for the longest, I remember one day I asked, why are you not answering? Because it's just work. This woman is just driving me crazy at work, Only there was something that happened, and I got to find out this the Sarah person, they actually have a child together.
Abraham, bruh.
And I don't know.
Do you know when I grew up, there's a song we used to sing. Father Abraham had many sons, and Father Abraham, I am one of them, and so are you. Yep. So let's just raise down. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you know how the song goes, right? Bruh.
And
why aren't you singing this song at this point? Because this is crazy.
And Sarah's last name, that I thought it was his last name.
Yeah.
No, it was an endearment, as in Shona.
Did you think she was called Sarah Mdiwa?
Yes.
I don't mean to laugh. But
if I don't laugh, I'll cry.
What were you? What had this man given you?
Do you know what? I don't believe in juju, but I believe this man jujued me, honestly. No, this man jujued me.
Okay, so this is now baby number
whatever. If I don't know others in the skeleton.
At this point, it doesn't matter anymore. Okay, yes.
When she came into the picture, how did I even find out? Actually, I saw some baby clothes in his boot in the car. And then I asked him about the clothes, and he said, because of his profession, he said it's for one of the kids. And I don't know. I remember taking a picture. When you just take a picture of the stuff, And I even looked at the label and I was thinking, oh, these are brand new things. But anyway, I just, as usual, cheapo being cheapo, just, Fast forward, I actually found out that this is the baby mama. I called her, and she starts telling me things. She's like, I know about you. I know your child.
Every single one of them is saying, I know about you.
You're the psycho woman.
The psycho woman.
The one who's not letting him go. I don't know how many times he's told you he doesn't want you, but you're still holding on. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. She's like, yeah. And he actually paid dowry for me. I know his family. And she starts mentioning the family members' names.
Bloody hell.
When she said that, something just clicked in me. I cried, but I think even when I was telling people around me that I'm done, they never believed me because we've been through this.
Yeah.
But I feel like Mudiwa, Sarah, is the one that just changed my
Everything.
whole
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I left. And I told him I'm done. And I think he thought I was joking. And till today he's still begging, but I am done with him. Like I've never looked back.
How long has it been?
I think 8 months now. Yeah. And even when I see him, I feel sorry for him. I don't even, when you look at somebody and you think, what did I see in you?
Mm.
Who is this person? Yeah.
That's where you are with this.
Yeah. I'm slowly picking up the pieces, slowly trying. I've got other obstacles, going on and, but yeah.
How much time does he invest into you and your son together?
That's another struggle altogether. He's not really.
He's not present.
No. But I'm okay with it.
One of the last things that you say is that karma does knock on the perpetrator's door every time, one way or the other. Mm-hmm. Why did you say that?
I feel I pushed him to get a divorce from that woman. He was comfortable with his separation, going back, But I feel like when I came into the picture, I kind of pushed him that way. And he did do it. Mm. And then all these other women, they showed me the same picture that the same thing that I did to that woman.
Interesting, so this is not karma in his face, it's karma your way.
Yes, because I feel like I'm the perpetrator. I'm the one who came into this mist. And I did what I did. Yeah.
We've just released episode 159, which really focuses on two men, a friend of mine and I, just talking about the journey to parenthood. Mm-hmm. And one thing that is clear between the two of us is we've seen children as blessings.
Yep.
So whilst I know we're talking about karma knocking on people's doors, etc., and I know that your view of a child was more for him than it was for you. Mm-hmm. Speaking as your friend, I'm grateful you have your son.
I do too.
Because you have a real opportunity to raise a man who will not be reflective of what you've been exposed to. Oh, yeah. Literally, that is in your power to do.
Yeah.
And if there's any point in giving any form of encouragement, that's where I'd encourage your energies to be focused on right now, because that young man didn't ask to come into this world. But because he's here, you genuinely have a real opportunity to make him be the best version of him based on how bad an experience you've had.
Yep.
And at the same time, not even bother try and paint his dad as a bad man, because I don't think you want him to grow up thinking, men can be this kind of person.
Oh, no.
And I know you've grasped that opportunity and you're doing the best of it.
Oh, yeah.
Because we spoke earlier and you told me about what you are doing to make sure that he actually grows up to be a solid man.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I would encourage you to do, knowing that you haven't asked for any encouragement, is take that opportunity and run with it.
I'm running.
So what's your situation like with him now? With Abraham? You don't talk? Do you talk?
Only when it comes to my son. He tries to be funny. He will try and say, "You're my wife," kind of thing. But I think he's now finally grasped that I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Looking at you, I feel you need a bit more time.
I do.
Are you speaking to someone to help you through this? Do you have a therapist?
I do.
How's that going?
It's hard. And I think a few people around me don't even know that I'm going through this, but I am. And I think when I listen to your podcast as well, and I hear crazy stories, and I thought to myself, let me share. Maybe there's somebody who can take a few lessons from my book.
And I'm grateful you are, because you've actually touched on a theme that runs wild in our community. which is the peer pressure to get married.
Yep.
Especially when you've gone through your 20s and maybe you've been a good, in quotes, girl.
Yeah.
And you're just looking for that opportunity for it to happen within the 30s. And there's that
Exactly.
anxiousness and that anxiety and lack of confidence that it will happen. So any opportunity to come thing, you open up your arms to it, you
Yeah.
grab it, and then what shouldn't be done by somebody who's a genuinely caring man ends up happening.
Yeah.
You were borderline getting yourself into polygamous situation,
Oh yeah. Like I was ready.
which I don't know how that would have panned out for you. So I'm overly confident that there's someone who's thinking that they are potentially getting themselves in the same situation.
Yeah. Don't do it.
And I'm grateful for you coming through to come in and say exactly what you just said, that don't do it.
Yeah. Love yourself enough. I'm sure someone out there is going to love me for me.
Beyond a doubt.
Yeah. So it's okay.
Beyond a shred of
Yeah.
a doubt.
It might not be now, but someday kind of thing, you know? So, yeah.
Chipo, thanks for sharing this.
Thank you so much, Jindo.
And I'll just play back your lesson. Lesson number 1 was don't be a clown in the name of marriage. We don't even need to go over that. It is so clear why that should not be the case. Number 2, don't believe in the fear of what will people say. This speaks to me too. Man, I've had some mad
We need to sit down.
relationships, yeah. And I'm glad I picked up on this lesson when I was still in my 20s.
Yeah.
Because I had a situation in my late 20s that if I cared what people said, I'll probably be 6 feet under right now. So that I resonate with, and I strongly encourage people, do not give 2 hoots about what people say. Focus on you.
Yep.
Number 3, when someone shows you their true colors the first time, best believe them. Remember when I was saying to you, how did you feel about a man calling his ex-wife a hoe? And how all of that was now the same language that was being used to relate to you.
Yep.
So, read colors just as they are. Last but not least, karma doesn't knock at the perpetrator's door. Karma does knock on the perpetrator's door every time, one way or the other. I'm tempted to think, I think karma is more likely to come his way than it is to come your way.
Yep.
Because you've been given a gift and you have the opportunity to do right by that gift.
Yep.
So let karma be for him to deal with. You've decided to step out and make the best of what you have.
Thank you so much.
You've been listening to another episode of The Feeling Station. I'm your host, Tinto, and I will catch you in next weekend's episode. Peace.
Tell me what you're feeling. Tell me what you're feeling. Now that it's over. Let me talk about my feelings. Let me talk about my feelings, yeah. Kuchiziro amai. Love is a fire.
Rudo imoto runoto kuchiziro amai.